The story of the Stones Bidder Championship race of 1991. A race that was eventually won in the very last stride.
Bobby Goulding trying the drop goal. It's a beauty. First blood to Wigan. Goulding. Now that is a tester. Bentley underneath it. He's lost it. Gallagher. Might fall for Philip Clark. Andy Goodway. He's in. 5 more yards. Dermott. He's there. Martin Dermott wriggles in for a precious try. Dennis Betts. He's in. Champion stuff from Dennis Betts. That will clinch it. Ellery Hanley has his hands on the championship trophy again. Captain Fantastic leads the team to another honour. And my goodness, they've had to do it the hard way this season. Mission impossible is mission achieved, and John Mooney's team have stayed the course.
This season's title course started in Swansea, where the defending champions Widnes beat their perennial rivals Wigan to the Charity Shield, and did it with an unmistakably Welsh accent.
David Hume, Les Holiday, Tony Myler, man over, they keep it moving. Jonathan Davis, a fire outside him. Davis doesn't need him. Welcome home, Jonathan.
Davis was the headline act in a rugby league promotion to spread the word abroad. His native South Wales heard it loud and clear.
Jonathan Davis, brilliantly stolen. Oh, watch him go. O'Fire's there if he needs him. He's not going to pass the ball in O'Fire in South Wales.
Subtlety.
And talking of subtlety, here's Kurt Sorensen. Alan Tate. Davis, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Hat-trick for Jonathan Davis.
A hat-trick of Charity Shields for Widnes too. 2 weeks later, they put Wigan out of the Lancashire Cup. Rivalries had been well and truly renewed. But beating them in the Championship, that would prove an altogether different proposition. Rugby Union's Hall of Fame has led more and more to rugby league in the past year. The All Blacks World Player of the Year, John Gallagher, a record signing for Leeds. His fellow countryman, Frano Botica, adding his trusty boot to the Wigan cause. The international drift brought French Rugby League General Patrick Antin to Hull. And the latest star to rise from the Welsh Valleys, Warrington capture Kevin Ellis. Bargain summer buy had to be British tourist Kelvin Skerritt, who negotiated a free transfer from Bradford to Wigan. Greatest loss? Well, Hull would tell you Brian Smith, their enigmatic Australian coach, returning home to take charge of Sydney club St George.
We have a whisper about it this week. We talked about it a little bit, but, you know, professional players shouldn't worry about who's coming or going. In the end, it's when they go out and put the boots on and out on the paddock, it's what they do.
What Hull were doing under Smith's guidance at the start of this season was beating everything in sight.
Hull are now very much in control. 14-10 their lead. Good opportunity again as the ball goes out on the far side, and Richard Gay joins the line, and the pass is a good one, and Rob Nolan scores.
Hull had rounded off last season with 8 straight championship wins. They started this season with 7 more. It was just like the old days at the Boulevard.
And another incident there involving Noel Cleal, but he won't worry about that, and he scores. Tremendous try by Noel Cleal.
Crusher Cleal was set to take charge of a team of budding talents. Paul Eastwood, Great Britain's new goal kicker, amongst them. Victory at Leeds was followed by a 32-6 win over Widnes. By the end of the month, Hull were riding high at the top of the Stones Bidder Championship table. Wakefield had the only other 100% record. Ellery Hanley's disciplinary record was blotted by his first ever dismissal. Robin Whitfield sending him off for dissent at half-time in a thriller at Bradford. The feared Northern pack bulldozing their way to the line in a photo finish. The season was a month old and Wigan had already been beaten 3 times. Leeds were beaten in each of their first 3 games. £1 million invested in the transfer market. The payoff began at Warrington with John Gallagher's first dividend.
Oh, Paul Dixon, he could be on his way here. Dixon has support. Gallagher! He scored his first try for Leeds.
October had arrived, but Castleford hadn't. Doug Lawton and Widnes were at Norton Park for their televised clash, but Castleford was stuck on the M62.
Getting ready for the official kick-off time. Now we certainly know that's going back at least quarter an hour, maybe then back another quarter an hour. I've just told my sexy ring the rugby league to see how long it goes on, because obviously we're not going to play the game at 10 o'clock tonight.
When Castleford did arrive, they ran into heavy Widnes traffic. One-way traffic.
Mackenzie in pursuit, goes too high for Steadman. Mile onto on fire, and look who's popped up, and look who's going clear, and look who scored his 100th league try. Holiday, David Hume, looking for O'Fire. He's going to have to come on the inside. Myler's there. Here's O'Fire at last. Now, can you catch him? Can anybody catch him? St Giles got there, but O'Fire's momentum took him in. Got some very good young players coming through Widnes. We think of them as acquirers of talent. There he is again. Stuart Spruce breaking clear. David Hume, Martin O'Fire. Only one outcome. Only ever one outcome. Martin O'Fire's hat-trick.
Castleford paid a heavy price for their late arrival, a stiff fine and lost championship ground they could never quite make up. Hull were leaving everybody behind. Wigan were next up on the boulevard of broken dreams. Broken tackles, more like. Hull were opening doors all over visiting defences. 8 passes to cover 80 yards of breathtaking rugby league. A try of the season contender from the early contenders for team of the season. Played 5, won 5. A perfect record maintained with perfect timing at Warrington the following week.
Down to the wire. This is where the pressure players emerge. Hull on the attack. Reg Mackey, drop goal attempt. Heartbreaker. It's the former Warrington man who's kicked the drop goal, which looked set to beat the wire and extend Hull's remarkable winning run.
The last team from whom Hull might have been expecting a championship favour were their local rivals. But on their second visit of the season to Humberside, Widnes suffered their second defeat of the season, 22-20 to Hull Kingston Rovers. Rovers went third in the table, but controversy followed them. There were calls from Oldham coach Tony Barrow for David Bishop to be banned from the game following this tackle, which left Charlie McAllister with a fractured cheekbone. Bishop was transfer listed after a row with Rovers' own coach Roger Millward, who then announced his resignation. For 25 years, he'd been the life and soul of the club. It was truly the end of an era. The end of a nightmare for Rochdale Hornets, their first championship win of the season at Bradford Northern's expense. Sadly, it was also to be the last of a relegation campaign during which the players worked under 4 different coaches. Rochdale still managed to reach a Regal Trophy semi-final, but life in the New Look second division was unavoidable. The highlight of a long, hard year in the big league, the beating of Bradford, October the 14th. Now, a quiz question for you. Who lost 2 successive league games without conceding a single try?
Mike Ford taken a little bit late there by Bob Jackson after the kick. And the touch judge is in, he saw it. Duncan Platt steers Oldham into the lead.
Answer: Warrington, beaten 3-2 by Hull and 4-2 by Oldham on successive Saturdays in October. Hull were 4 points clear by the end of the month.
Brings Walker on the inside, gets the ball away beautifully to Richard Gay. Now then, Gay's got Gumpson to beat. He's got Nolan Eastwood outside him. Eastwood's going for the corner. Eastwood comes inside. Powell and makes the line. Carl Harrison turns to find Ontar. Chips through Ontar. That's another good kick. Recovers it beautifully. He gets the ball away to Nolan. Now here's a chance for Eastwood's second try. And he's there. Ontar brings Mackey on the inside, out to Webb now. Webb looking for that opening, steps inside now. Has he got a place to go? 10 yards from the line, beats the tackles, makes the line! Inside the Sheffield quarter now. 15 yards from the Sheffield line. Brad Webb, out to Walker, out to McNamara, out to Turner. Turner goes for the corner, Turner makes the corner.
It was Hull's biggest win yet, their 7th on the trot. It gave them clear daylight at the top. Wigan, who'd slipped to 11th place earlier in the month, were now 9 points adrift of the flying Earlybirds. But all good things come to an end, and as November started, Hull were halted. Yorkshire Cup finalists Wakefield Trinity succeeded where the others had failed. They were a top six side themselves for much of the opening part of the season, and they intercepted Hull's progress on November the 4th at Bellevue, beating Wigan 2 in their very next home game. It had been nice whilst it lasted, but Hull had been beaten at last. Up into third place in the table went Bradford Northern.
Up came Hobbs into it. This is better. Marchant holds on, and Tony Marchant streaks for the line, and he's made up for his mistake earlier. Isn't he a pleased young lad? And we're inside the final minute as Bradford come looking for a clinching try. The longer ball is taken by Shelford, and Gerald Cordell, who's had no chances at all all afternoon, puts the seal on Bradford's victory.
Northern's third victory on the bounce, bouncing them into the title picture. It was during November that Wigan first signalled their title intentions. They'd already lost 2 of their first 5 championship games, an awful lot for them. They would lose only 2 more of their remaining 21, lengthening their stride as the finishing line came ever closer. Key men like Ellery Hanley, Andy Gregory and Dennis Betts were cornerstones of Great Britain's manful attempts to wrest world supremacy out of Australian hands. They were serving club and country simultaneously, and the bold Ashes bid was taking a greater toll of Wigan's championship bid than that of any other club. But November brought clear signs of them returning to the straight and narrow. 3 straight wins to lift them into 4th place. Big wins over Hull Kingston Rovers and then Featherstone Rovers.
Kevin Ira. Oh, he's so exciting when he gets some open field. And Lydon's hung on. And Lydon goes clear. And Wigan go in front. Goulding. Lovely step. Might go all the way himself. Bobby Goulding. Oh, it was a high tackle. It didn't prevent him from getting in, though. He'll have some bells ringing in his head, but he won't mind.
This game has really speeded up, and Goulding read it right, hit the ball up off the right foot. Again, Bibb has fended away with a right-hand fend by Goulding. Oh, how's that for a smack in the chops? Oh, my heavens.
Edwards. Hanley. Chance for Ellery Hanley. You don't stop the best player in the world from that range. Now they've got about 14-man overlap here. Dean Bell. David Myers trying to make something of it. Kick through, and where did these two come from? Now watch them fight each other. Oh, who tries that? It's Hanley or Myers. I think Ellery's going to have that. Your time will come, son. That's my try.
Wigan had crept to the very fringe of the leading bunch. They had 11 points, just out of the frame, but back in the minds of those in front of them come the end of November. There was only one candidate for try of the month in November. It was scored by St Helens, the great inventors of British Rugby League. Sheffield Eagles had already seen some of their samples that historic afternoon at Knowsley Road. Saints ran in 30 points. The other 4, they headed in. You've all seen the kick ahead. Now here comes the head ahead. Saints 6 feet 7 inch forward John Harrison to acting halfback. George Mann getting the nod. Try given by Jerry Kershaw. Saints coach Mike McLennan was the man with the bright idea, and not even 2 watching members of the local constabulary could think of a law that he'd broken. Now, what have you got here then? Australian Test forward Peter Tunks was on the move from Salford to Sheffield. He finished the season as the new coach of Oldham and the new voice of Granada Television's Rugby League Live. Joining Sheffield for December, he found himself playing in the game's newest and maybe finest setting, the Don Valley Stadium, built to host the World Student Games. When the Eagles hosted Leeds just before Christmas, Rugby League was plunged into the dark ages. A floodlight failure, and at one of Britain's most modern and best equipped sports complexes. I don't know, never happens at Crown Flat. As the players recharged their batteries in the dressing room, somebody fed the meter and there was light again. No doubt a future what happened next. Leeds, like Wigan, had donated heavily to the British effort to beat Australia. Gary Schofield had been joined in the Test squad by Carl Gibson, Paul Dixon and Roy Powell. And maybe as a result, Leeds had struggled to get their championship bandwagon rolling. The moment the Australians left, Leeds' form picked up. Last season's runners-up were revving up for a late run at the biggest prize in the game. The Christmas-New Year period would sort out the men from the boys. By Boxing Day, the Stone Splitter table had a more familiar look about it. The top names in the top places. Top of the bookies' list, the defending champions Widnes, who'd already added the Lancashire Cup to the Charity Shield in their valuable silver collection. The only one of the genuine title contenders still to reveal their hand were Yorkshire Cup winners Castleford. On New Year's Day, they embarked on an adventure which brought 10 consecutive wins and almost took them to the very summit of the game. The first day of January brought with it defeats for Wigan and for Hull, who'd revealed their Achilles heel. They were increasingly bad travellers. Even the short trip to New Craven Park proved a little bit too far. Hull Kingston Rovers' return to the big league had been overshadowed by their neighbours' runaway start to the season. On New Year's Day, they emerged from the shadow to score a resounding Derby Day success, 20 points to 8. It was Hull's fourth consecutive away defeat, and there were more to come. Too many to support a lasting title challenge. Rovers rose to fourth in the table, but ended the season searching for survival and for a new coach. It's tough at the top. Warrington had caught the festive spirit all right. 3 days after beating Widnes en route to the Regal Trophy, Brian Johnson's team beat Wigan at Central Park. They had that sort of season. Lancashire Cup semi-finalists, Challenge Cup quarter-finalists, and yet they didn't even make the top 8. They were the last team to beat Wigan in the Championship, though. John Money's boys may have started the new year with a hangover, but they soon found a cure, and their turn to party wasn't long in coming. The New Year's Day standings show just how much ground they had to make up still, and how valuable their 2 victories over leaders Widnes would prove to be. But Hull were the leaders again by the time Brian Smith made his emotional farewell with another thumping Boulevard win, this time against Leeds. Smith had become one of the most enlightened and entertaining voices in the British game. It was ironic that his big break back home should come just as he was threatening his big breakthrough here. But he left Hull in top spot and in tip-top shape. International class players like Lee Jackson and Andy Dannett remain as Brian Smith's legacy. Widnes were the next of the fancied runners to take a New Year's fall, caught up in Castleford's gathering, storming finish. They only suffered 6 league defeats, 2 to Wigan, the other 4 to Yorkshire clubs. The White Rose was just beginning to bloom again at Weldon Road. It wilted badly when Wigan turned for home in the Championship race and turned on Sheffield with 40 first-half points. A landslide victory included Ellery Hanley's 300th career try, and the pick of 8 in all scored by Kevin Iro. Wigan were climbing fast, and fast approaching their first Championship showdown of the season with Widnes. Defeat would have left them 5 adrift of the defending champions, but they never looked like losing at Norton Park.
Gregory. Andy Platt, beautifully taken on the burst. Hanley at his shoulder, ran past Devereux as if he wasn't there. Great play by Hanley, great try. Unstoppable. Stoppage time at the end of the first half. 8-2 Wigan lead. Sean Edwards, Ellery Hanley in the clear again, in the points again. A captain's example. Edwards, dummy to nobody then. There's absolutely nobody outside of him. Here's Kevin Iro. What a break. Big tackle for Stuart Spruce to make. Iro's offloaded it. Sean Edwards. Iro again. Great break. Ellery Hanley. Hat-trick. Oh boy, what a try. Ellery Hanley rounded it off. But a great, great Wigan move. Offside Wigan. 2 points are no good to Widnes. Not sure they can kick them even. Myler. Oh, Fire's got a chance. It's all happening a little bit late, but Widnes are back in business. Alan Tate. Clever kick. Martin O'Fire's looking for his second. Martin O'Fire's got his second. 2 minutes of stoppage time. The Martin O'Fire fan club meets in the corner.
But it was too little, too late. Wigan were even catching up with Martin O'Fire. The hard facts of rugby league life were catching up with John Gallagher meanwhile. At St Helens on January the 20th, he was the recipient of a spear tackle which may have set his gaining confidence back a couple of months. It certainly sent his head spinning. As an all-black hero, Gallagher was never once on the losing side. His secondary education with Leeds has been a testing examination of his character and courage. By the end of the season, the signs were that he would pass out eventually with flying colours. But lessons learnt in the professional code are often learnt at a cost. Gallagher's agony compounded by the award of a St Helens scrum, his frustration completed by the scoring of a St Helens try. Sean Devine the man. Saints the winners, Leeds' lingering title dream well and truly ended. It was the end of the road for Tony Barrow as Oldham coach too. His wit and wisdom won't be lost to the game for long. Going into February, Wigan, it seemed, had forgotten how to lose. Their double bid was taking shape under the most ruthless regime in the game.
They expect success on the terracing. Not so much just the pack, but I think the whole team. We were on. I think we were on a warning, I suppose. They don't expect to lose so many games at Wigan.
Andy Gregory, Sean Edwards, Dean Bell. Lucas going on himself from acting half-back. Scales over 17 stone, but still very mobile. Edwards and Gregory on the run around. Beautifully delivered for Ellery Hanley. Support from Joe Lydon. And Wigan have scored inside 90 seconds. And Wigan camped on their line again. Hanley. Big hit by Des Harrison. Smuggled out to Andy Gregory though. Taken on by Kelvin Skerrett. Smuggled out to Kevin Iro. And another try for Joe Lydon. And Wigan just somehow kept the ball alive there. Edwards. Plenty of runners. Iro. Hanley. No contest. Plenty strong enough. Two of the strongest men in the game involved in that try. Fifth tackle. Andy Gregory. Phil Clark. Andy Gregory. Kevin Iro. Oh, lovely little kick. Oh, what a sucker blow. Kevin Iro scores Wigan's fourth try of the afternoon.
If they can hold the ball for 6 here, I think that they'll get another score here because Rovers are looking very vulnerable out in the right.
And that's where it's going. Edwards. Iro. Myers. That was the only ball that he wanted. And that's what he'll come up with for you.
Wigan were back in the groove, winning well, scoring freely. Goal kicker Frano Botica was faultless against Hull Kingston Rovers. Every time Wigan crossed their opponent's line, they could count on 6 points. A mechanically reliable goal kicker was the final piece in their championship jigsaw. Botica, the all-black understudy, had graduated to master of his art. The summer signing John Money didn't really want became the man he couldn't really do without. Botica the boot was the most prolific points gatherer in the First Division. The perfect answer to the questions about Wigan's goal kicking.
7 out of 7 for Frano Botica. It's been a perfect kicking day from him.
Hull still had a perfect home record, but the flaws in their away form continued to puncture their title bubble. At St Helens on February the 18th, they actually held the lead, thanks to Brad Webb's try. But their vulnerability cost them the championship lead for the last time that night. They never did regain it. Les Quirk, an expert in the field of knockout tries, covered most of the length of the field to knock Hull off the top for the last time. They lost 8 away games in a row, a run that cost them their championship and their Challenge Cup tickets. The Widnes tickets still look the one to run on. At Headingley that weekend, they hit new heights.
Sorensen, not one of the more recent introductions to the game, but Carrier makes good ground. Fire. Which way is he going to go? He's going to carve an opening, and Fire goes superbly, and he's going down the touchline, and Martin Fire scores! A magnificent try! Tate again. He's having an outstanding match so far, is Alan Tate. He's got Carrier moving. Carrier's going to score here. They won't stop Andy Carrier. He showed a clean pair of heels to Delaney. Tate had started it. Carrier, there's nobody better to finish it. Leeds aren't completing the tackles as well as they might do today.
Well, I think they've been stung really by 2 superb tries, individual tries at that really, and it has made life very difficult for them. They can't quite get back into it.
Mackenzie goes from acting half-back, and it's yet another fine break by a Widnes man. Joe Grimmer has supported him, and Joe Grimmer tears in for Widnes. And they're running Leeds ragged. Now Coloto. Nice gentle reintroduction to the game for him. Carrier to Devereux. Not seen a lot of John Devereux. 2-try man at Doncaster last week, of course, but Coloto whips it away to David Hume on his right. There's space here, and support from Mackenzie and from Carrier, and Widnes have got their try at the start of the half again. There is no stopping them. Still 22-0. Could have been a real drubbing. As Widnes take the ball from that scrum, and David Hume just manages to hold on, and Devereux straightens up now, and John Devereux is going to go all the way to the line. Tate's with him, he doesn't need to be there. John Devereux, another excellent long-range try for Widnes.
I think Gallagher is now appreciating what it's like. He's had for so many years playing behind an All Black back. To be facing the Widnes back as they've run today.
Oh, it's stolen by Andy Carrier, who's going to say thanks very much, I'll take a hat-trick. Well, that's the simplest try he'll probably ever score. Coloto has got Famalo bursting through, Spruce at his shoulder. It's going to really cap a wonderful display for Widnes. Stuart Spruce.
3 teams now share the championship lead. Castleford had come up on the rails, but Widnes and Hull were the 2 with their hands on the reins. On February the 27th, they met in the Norton Park mud. Widnes were the team in form. Alan Tate bursting out of the shackles of an injury-ravaged season to score 2 tries and make another for John Devereux. Martin O'Fire's personal crusade to go down in history as the first post-war player to top the try-scoring charts 4 years in succession was bringing out the very best in him. You only have to look how clean his shirt was to know how close anybody came to laying a hand on him. The rigours of an Ashes season had claimed a slice of Widnes energies too. But in Kurt Sorensen, they had a driving inspiration leading from the front all season long. Hull were heading home with nothing in the kitty, yet again. Doug Lawton had taken the round by knockout and was ahead on the judges' cards. Noel Cleale's team were taking too much punishment on the road. They couldn't get back to Humberside quickly enough. Any chance they had of fighting back during March lay with their hometown record. Featherstone Rovers were next on the Boulevard chopping block. Peter Fox's team had surprised everyone by clambering into the top 5 themselves.
Thanks, Logan. And here's McGarry. McGarry's got a chance, and that's a great try for Hull. That levels matters. The Australian brought over from Balmain scores only his 3rd try of the season. Now Onta and Mackie. Good ball. That's Busby. High hopes of this 17-year-old. No wonder. Dixon now on full tilt. Still going Dixon. Swarming defence from Featherstone. Busby opened them up perfectly then. Onta to Mackie. Long pass out. They must be in surely. Referee's been knocked over. I think he's given the try. tackling and the number 10 Bastian. Mackie, he's opened them up again. Oh, great stuff from Hull. Mackie's quick thinking. Patrick Ontard, the Frenchman. Nice play. Sharp, just a little over. Ragnarsson has given the ball to Webb, and Brad Webb is romping in. Another try for Hull. Last tackle. Featherstone have done well. Can they keep them out? They're running it. Mackie. The ball slipped to Gay. The answer's no. And that's an emphatic try from Hull.
Tempers are flaring there. They're flaring up really, really quickly indeed. It may get out of a hand.
There's Busby. I've been impressed with the teenager. That's good unloading to McNamara. McNamara loads, and there's Ontard's second try of the night. Well, the little Frenchman had only scored one before tonight. Here's Carl Harrison playing in his colours, of course, black and white now, against his former colours, red and white at Featherstone. A £57,000 signing from Featherstone Rovers. McNamara, the defence is melted away. And Steve McNamara goes over for another Hull try. And the black and white supporters at the boulevard here, delighted with what they're seeing.
The Hull fans, and everybody else's for that matter, were even more delighted when they heard the result from Norton Park. 4 days after beating Hull, Widnes lost at home to second division bound Sheffield Eagles. Rogue results were becoming Sheffield's stock and trade. They'd already beaten Saints, Bradford and Hull themselves, and drawn at Wigan on the opening day of the season. Widnes, who'd lost spectacularly at Sheffield just after their World Championship win last season, lost spectacularly again. It was the most unexpected twist yet in the title story. Gary Hetherington's enterprise and persistence will be missed from next season's First Division. Sheffield will be welcomed back by everyone but Widnes. A week later, the Eagles came within a score of causing similar mischief to Castleford.
French. Oh, is he going to make it all the way himself? They can't stop him this time, but that is a try.
Castleford placed 8th at the turn of the year and picked their way right through the leading bunch. But Wigan, with 5 games in hand, now held the key to the title door.
We've got a very good side. We've got a lot of outstanding players that can win the big game. So we just got to take care of the bread and butter things, the week by week struggle. That's and that's the hard part. That's where we missed a jump a little bit by losing our couple of games earlier in the year.
Gregory on this near side. Kerritt, Preston, if he holds and he scores, he scores. So he's marked his comeback with a try. Gregory. It's not an easy one to take for anybody. It's going to come back on the Wigan side, and Betts might just keep it alive. He does. Fumbled somewhat by Clark. They're now playing football with it. Here's Botica into a gap. Hanley, he's got a man on the outside. That man is Dave Myers, who comes inside superbly. It's on the last tackle once more, though. Gregory, Hanley's calling for it. Hanley might dribble it over the line. Hanley will score. Ellery Hanley's there. And that was pure footballing brain.
It was Wigan's footballing legs that faced the sternest test in the remaining month of the season, though. Key players like Sean Edwards soldiered on with sapping injuries. They ran in 6 more tries against travel-sick Hull, 3 of them for Frano Botica. David Myers on the other wing was another junior pressed into senior service. They took their lead from the likes of Edwards and the bulletproof Ellery Hanley to keep Wigan on course through the 11 games they faced in that final month. Against Warrington, the last team to beat them back on New Year's Day, they summoned another 4 tries from their locker full of moves. Hanley moving back defensive lines at will, moving those around him to greater efforts, and moving to another milestone with his second try, his 200th in Division 1. All that just 3 days after leading his team back to Wembley. But as many headlines as Hanley could make, Davis could make 2.
Well, they should have gone with the ball. They've given it to Davis instead. Davis is off for the corner. Simpson's coming across. Beautiful sidestep. Great try, Davis. Took a bang on the head for his pains, but that was Jonathan Davis at his best. Goodness, right in front of the sticks. Mackenzie, straightens up well. Mackenzie unloads the pass to Darren Wright. Devereux's out there waiting for it. Good tackle. Still they keep it going. Oh, it's breathtaking stuff. Coloto, who was screaming for the ball a moment ago. This is Darren Wright. Hauled down legally by Caudle, but only just legally. Mackenzie. And now Hume. Is the referee convinced that that was a try? He is. And now Medley ducking under the challenges, releasing the ball straight to Davis again. Well, he gifted one to him earlier. Davis has gone round Simpson. Oh, great stuff from Davis. A fire's there. Don't worry, this is a try. Right on halfway. Long pass from Mackenzie, well picked up by Davis. He carries it on to Coloto. Here's a fire. A bit of space. Space is closed down. Now Davis. Watch the step again. Brilliant stuff from Davis. Oh, great stuff. He's on his own. He's under the posts. And that's why Jonathan Davis has come north to witness, to bring the crowd to life. Last tackle. There's only 8 points between these two sides, you know. It's not finished yet. Davis has it, though. Oh, wonderful play from Jonathan Davis. There's the hat-trick. It's Davis's night in Widnes. That's the last tackle. It's with a fire. Now Davis. He fancies a fourth. He's got one.
4 tries from the breathtaking Jonathan Davis. The title lead again for Widnes. But there was no let-up from Wigan and no let-up from Castleford.
Crooks held up on that white line. So it comes right, and an unfortunate kick, and the referee says play on and awards the try. There's chances here for Roebuck, for Steadman, held up just a couple of yards out. So it's the last one. They might go for the drop goal. Steadman tries to get there. Steadman does get there. Beardmore reverses it for Keith England. He's taken by Kevin Ward. Oh, gets it away for Steadman. And Steadman sprints through the middle. Chases it again. And he gets there. He's in. Steadman. He's just dominating the game at the moment. Oh, the ball lost by him though, and it was Kevin Ward again. Well, he doesn't want to end up on the losing side today. Now he's lost it though, and this is Sean Irwin for Castleford. Exciting play from Irwin. Oh, he's done superbly as Sean Irwin, really showing his strength there, and still got it away for Keith England. And Castleford's son comes storming in with Ian Ellis. Oh, it's going to be a David Pratt score. The last one. Steadman to kick. Oh, excellent catch from Loughlin, and he's got a man on his outside, but he can't pick it up. Ray might, and John Ray must surely get in for Castleford.
We've got a great team spirit down here. The forwards are doing the business up front and the backs are finishing off, and if we can keep the roll on like we have done since the turn of the new year, there's no reason why we can't go all the way and be champions.
Graham Steadman had forgotten 2 very good reasons, Wigan and Widnes. Jonathan Davis's season had started in glory at the Charity Shield and got better. International recognition and recognition from his opponents in the First Division Player of the Year poll. He was on his way to a new Widnes point-scoring record, but then this was a team in which everyone chipped in, forwards as mobile as many a back division. Doug Lawton has never fielded a player who couldn't handle the ball. Their off-the-cuff conjuring tricks continually confounded defences. Suddenly a bulldozing prop forward would serve up the pass of the day. But in the sad absence of the masterful Tony Myler, Davis became the pivot of the team for the run-in. His eye for the break was just what Widnes's many superb support players thrive on. More often than not, they were falling over each other to take the scoring pass. With 4 games to go, the Widnes cocktail was bubbling along in front, Wigan lurking in the shadow of a fixture pile-up. At the other end of the table, Hull KR beat the drop, but lost heavily at Sheffield in Roger Millward's last game in charge. He deserved a better leaving present.
And for Roger Millward, the curtain comes down after 25 years, and it's the saddest day I can imagine.
He's won everything as a player and as a coach, and we thought that we'd seen the best of him as a player, because any time a World 13 is selected, Roger Millward's name is in contention. But since then, his achievements as a coach have near enough equalled his playing prowess, and the standards he's set are going to be very hard to follow.
Back at the title ranch, Castleford's late stampede came to an end, rounded up by Bradford's Paul Medley, who scored a hat-trick in a 24-14 win. 2 years ago, Cass had started like champions and finished like also-rans. This time they tried it the other way round. Consistency remains a quality that they find elusive. Much the same can be said of beefy Bradford, though. Twice they beat Wigan, twice they beat Leeds. Medley had a storming season, but none of the slumbering giants of Yorkshire football woke up for long enough to make the expected impact. April started with the final eliminator for Yorkshire's own version of the title. Castleford and Hull, the top tykes, met at Weldon Road, knowing there was no way back for the loser. First blood to Hull, the Australian connection, Greg Mackey sending in Damien McGarry. The Castleford reply provided a reminder of the power and opportunism that have launched number 3 Sean Irwin into the Great Britain reckoning. Knows where the line is. Cass invested heavily in the international ball playing of Lee Crooks to feed their title ambitions. Perfectly timed for Tony Smith. The game looked beyond Hull when John Ray, their midwinter capture from Morley, snatched Castleford's 3rd try. But Hull rallied gamely. After 5 months without an away win, they had 2 in a row. Greg Mackey popped up wide to bring Castleford back within range. Then in the dying minutes, Crooks threw one risky pass too many, and Brad Webb accepted the present to wrap up the game at 14-all, breaking Planch's tackle and giving Paul Eastwood the chance to break the tie. It wasn't quite Old Trafford, but it was a pressure kick all the same, and this time Eastwood was up to it. If there's anything worse than losing the top of the table clash, it's losing a Challenge Cup semi, and 48 hours after losing one to St Helens, Widnes had to beat them in the league.
Davis. Joe Grimmer. Davis has seen more of the ball in the opening 12 minutes than he saw in 80 on Saturday. Here he is again. Steve Wynn. On by Steve McCurry. Great step, good try. Steve McCurry's first ever try for Widnes. David Hume, Steve McCurry, looking for a way out of the cul-de-sac. Penned in though, 5th tackle. Mackenzie, David Hume, oh he's there! He was looking to offload it, but his momentum carried him over, and that's a crucial try for Widnes' championship hopes from David Hume. Penalised. Now what will Saints do here? They're going to run it. They could take 2, but Bishop's looking for more. Now has he had the ball stolen from him there? Dear me. Oh! Shane Cooper scored. Surprise, surprise. Saints stretched here though. Another score would surely win it for Widnes. Mackenzie, Courier, Howard, strong run, O'Fire was waiting, Coloto, they're calling for it out on the left wing, Grimmer on to Davis, chance here for young Steve Wynn, and young Steve Wynn has clinched the win for Widnes. 19 years of age.
Widnes had come through their character test to retain the title initiative. Wigan just 3 points adrift with 2 games in hand. But their script for the last act of the championship drama left little room for a happy ending. Coach John Money called it Mission Impossible. 8 games in 18 days. Castleford, Widnes, Bradford and Leeds in the final week. But Wigan were on a run of 11 straight wins by the time their roadshow called in at Featherstone on March 29th. Their will to win was undiminished. Kevin Iro, unchallenged, ran in their first try. So much depended on the old heads to guide the young legs in the right direction. Andy Gregory piloted many a try during the run-in. Ellery Hanley coming in to land again. It wasn't as if Wigan were blessed with the best of fortune. Brendan Tutar getting the benefit of the referee's doubt to pull Featherstone back into it. Then Tutar's kick taking a devil's bounce away from poor David Myers and allowing Ian Smales to take Wigan to the limit. But time and time again, they found a man for the occasion. In this case, a very big man, Kevin Iro. Tackling him carries a government health warning. Featherstone took heed, then took issue with the touch judge. Wigan won by 8 points, though. It was closer still at Oldham on Easter Monday. Nobody had stopped Wigan scoring a try all season. Oldham kept them to 1. Chiselled out by the sheer force of Dennis Betts. Bottika's shoe leather did the rest. 10-4 the score. But that was only half the story. Watch the left elbow of number 10, Kelvin Skerritt. The referee did. Decided it was a hand-off that deserved a sending-off. Whether he deserved it or not, Skerritt missed the cup final because of it. The cup final dress rehearsal followed 3 days later. Andy Gregory's cloud scraper coming down with David Myers' name on it. But local rivals are the last people you want to see in the midst of a fixture jam, and St Helens made a fight of it. Teo Rapati replying. Nobody on the field was exactly short on motivation, but Kelvin Skerritt's Wembley ban left him with more frustrations to take out than most, and he took them out on anybody who cared to try and tackle him. But Saints had the ball skills to sail it out wide and check out Wigan's fatigue. Les Quirk stretching the cover to breaking point. Wigan just refused to snap though, laying siege to run out clear winners. Gregory again the locksmith, searching for and finding the right combination. A little kick this time, meant for Hanley, met by Martin Dermott. Typically, St Helens tried to pass their way back into the game. Inevitably, they courted disaster in doing so. Dennis Betts' alertness and strength, ushering in David Myers for the clincher. The first half of the mission had been accomplished. Wigan were in second place for the first time all season, breathing down Widnes' necks, sounding them out, stretching their tired legs too.
You know, we just have to go to Sheffield. We owe them one. They beat us in the league last time, so you know we'll have a couple of days off now. Then we'll hit it on Saturday.
It's been so far so good for Sheffield. They've set up this kind of position on 3 or 4 occasions, but they haven't made the most of it. And here's another 5th tackle. Aston giving a little bit of air this time. Maiko with a chance. Pickley with a chance. He's taken it. Andy Currier taking the ball on. Second tackle. He's big enough though.
Just setting a play up here where they're going to try and pick up Kaloto out very, very wide on a run around.
No, they're not. David Hume inside to Paul Hume. Jonathan Davis. Beautifully worked try. 2 minutes into the second half. And Widnes come up with a surprise move. Davis. Kaloto. Grimmer. Paul Hume. Always a sign that Widnes are playing well when there are men in support, and there were plenty in that move. Coloto. All eager for the ball now. Sorensen, O'Fire feeding off him. Martin O'Fire. Good night. Absolutely irrepressible. Haven't quite been able to recover from that dismal run early season. Really, the frustrating thing about that Sheffield win at Widnes last month is that for all the damage it did Widnes, it hasn't saved Sheffield. Sonny Nicol, great break. Oh, he's deserved that try.
Widnes survived the flimsy tackle and the late try to avenge that costly defeat at Sheffield's hands a month earlier. With 4 fixtures to fulfil, both clubs were in position to fulfil their title ambitions by keeping on winning. The catch was that only one of them could do so. April the 9th was fast approaching. D-Day. More than 30,000 were squeezed into Central Park to see which way the decision would go. Everybody had a hunch, but nobody was sure.
Two great sides, come to the end of a very, very long road, a very hard road, and tonight could be the end. Well, it's got to be the end for one of them.
The wear and tear starting to show. The players are tired. They've had an unbelievably hard campaign, and so far so good. You know, we've been giving it our best shot and we've been winning, so that's the main thing.
The fear of failure spurs us on. We particularly want to win the league because last year we won the league and we were denied the chance to play the Australian champions because of the tour. So we wouldn't like to be last year's champions, this year's near missers, and not play them at all. So we really do want to win the league.
Widnes's big night out against Canberra Raiders in '89 had given both clubs a taste of global glory that they could only get more of by winning this game.
Devereux. He really is so strong. He's a genuine centre. And Davis has read the break. And Davis has got the pace. And Davis has got the try.
Gregory calling up his runners. It's Lydon out of his hands for Edwards. Straightened up for Botica. He's in. Edwards. Bell. Botica. Myers looking for something on the inside. He's turned them all here. O'Fire eventually making the tackle with Paul Hume and Richard Ayres. 3 more yards. Gregory, Hanley, Hampson, Edwards the man over, and over in the corner. Betts trying his luck, he's in! Gregory setting up Platt, Clark went with him, and Philip Clark puts Wigan into the title lead. There's nothing Widnes can do now. They've won nothing yet, only a match. But what a match, and what a chance they now have.
One more, mate. We've got 2 chances. We've got to beat Bradford on Thursday, and then we've done it.
Well, they can't have a day off until they win the title, so we've got to win another game, and hopefully we'll be giving it our best on Thursday night.
But if Bradford won't mind me saying it, they're the best party poopers in the business. They'd already won a Regal Trophy quarter-final at Central Park and beaten Wigan at Odsal. David Hobbs was after beating them again. Either side of half-time, it looked as if he'd done it. Wigan was slow out of the blocks. Brett Itty showed no mercy. We all knew Wigan were carrying tired legs and patched-up injuries, but they'd never shown before. Now Wigan were blowing hard. Rugby League's marathon runners had hit the wall. Caudle and Medley unlocked the door. And when Darryl Shelford ran in Northern's third try, it was 18-2, all over by the shouting. But there was plenty of that to come. The tries that Wigan scored that night said it all. The hardest yards in Rugby League are the last 5, but they made them when they really had to. First, Dennis Betts, impeccably improved by the dead-eyed Botica. Then Kelvin Skerritt, plunging through the pain barrier one last time to square the match. Back from the dead, and still not satisfied. But for Gregory's handoff upsetting the referee, Skerritt would have won it there and then. The try didn't count, neither did Botica's late drop goal attempt. A yard here, a yard there. Wigan had come up a point short, but had one last chance.
I think it shows that the side's got character, you know. But, you know, it's all on Leeds now. Got to the Leeds to get a result at Leeds. We're hoping to finish it off tonight, but we've got to go to Leeds on Saturday.
Well, play with great team spirit all season. We've come back well from quite a deficit, and I'm sure the team spirit's there to do it Saturday.
1 point at Leeds and Wigan would be crowned. Defeat at Leeds and Widnes could dethrone them with a big win over bottom club Rochdale next day. Doug Lawton was offering to give the Leeds team talk for them.
Taking a note about Wigan being tired, this is a great Wigan side. They've proved it over the last few weeks, they've proved it over the last few seasons. But like, they have a great following, a great team, the coach is a great guy. I'd say let's get out there, let's get it wide, they're going to be tired. And if they are tired, let's find the chinks out wide, let's use our pace. We've got the best stadium in the world, we've got the best supporters. I'd tell them all that kind of stuff.
Just 40 hours and 20 minutes have passed since the final whistle blew on Wigan's last championship match. Another hour and 20 minutes of their championship season remaining, and one last precious point required. It's so ironic when you remember that Wigan drew their opening game of the season 7 months ago at home to Sheffield Eagles, now the victims of relegation. What a costly drop point that has proved to be. 12 months ago, it was Leeds who were the team who were pushing Wigan for the title. Their match at Central Park last April effectively settled the issue. Wigan won 16-12 that night, and within the week they'd finished the job off against Leeds. Leeds had to settle for runners-up spot, 4 points adrift in the final reckoning. It's going to be even closer this season. Edwards. First running chance for Frano Botica. Edwards in support, as ever. Taken by Gibson, who does so much good defensive work for Leeds. One or two loose arms there, fifth tackle. Bobby Goulding trying the drop goal. It's a beauty. First blood to Wigan. But Wigan really must try to make some use of this howling wind at their backs. Goulding. Now that is a tester. Bentley underneath it. He's lost it. Gallagher. Might fall to Philip Clark. Andy Goodway. He's in. First try of the afternoon for Andy Goodway of Wigan. Botica loves to try and get his first one away. Steadies his nerves. Nerves are steadied. Goulding again. He's already had preliminary talks with Leeds over a possible £120,000 move. He's in the shop window today, and he's standing out in the shop window. Goulding again. Another drop goal, another success, another point. Little time left for Wigan to take advantage of this position. Edwards up as far as the 25. The hoot are imminent. We've played a minute over the 40. Hanley trying his luck with a drop goal. Oh, he can do everything.
Just when you think you've seen Ellery do everything, he comes out and kicks a field goal. I don't know where the end of this man's talents are.
Now the fifth tackle. Bobby Goulding going for the drop goal again. A hat-trick. A hat-trick of drop goals from the little man. 10 points to 2 Wigan lead. 4 drop goals amongst them. One from this man, Ellery Hanley. Open space. Great run by Hanley. Now can he go all the way? Ford and Schofield across. Schofield just got him. What a stirring burst by Ellery Hanley. Oh, and he's been penalised for the ball going forward. He's soldiered on with a knee problem throughout the last couple of months, but he's taken a bang there high up on his left leg, and he's in trouble, and that is bad news for Wigan. And if that's a muscle pull, that could be Wembley too, you know. Ian Lucas is having a brilliant game. Dennis Betts. 5 more yards. Dermott. He's there. Martin Dermott wriggles in for a precious try. And the championship celebrations are starting. But really, Wembley is the furthest thing from the minds of these Wigan players. John Bentley, great break. John Bentley in for Leeds. That puts a different complexion on it. Dermott going again on his own, just short. Dennis Betts, he's in! Champion stuff from Dennis Betts. That will clinch it. It's another Wigan season. Ellery Hanley has his hands on the championship trophy again. Captain Fantastic leads the team to another honour. And my goodness, they've had to do it the hard way this season.
Wigan chairman Maurice Lindsay called it the athletic feat of the century. The hardest league in British sport had been won by British sport's hardest men.